welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. Alright, let's see here. Got everything. It looks like I could use some more torches, and it means I'm going to need to start looking out for coal. Go ahead and get these made up. Alright, let's bust out of here and get on the way. And yeah, nothing unpleasant about. So we block this up, and let's see. Yeah, that's the way to the FarLands, to the west. Let's see if I can get around this stuff a little bit. Maybe not have to climb the mountain. All right. In any event, here we are, continuing again, onward to the FarLands. Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, raising money for Child's Play charity, and enjoying the awesome terrain of Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, because it is truly awesome. In any event, let's see, the size of the world on this 262nd Minecraft day after leaving spawn is 3,305.31 megabytes. Shut up, spider. He's not being hostile, so I'll leave him alone. And let's see. That puts us at 694.69 megabytes away from the interim goal of 4,000 megabytes world size. And yeah, so that's getting close. By my estimation, given the current rate of world size growth, I would say, let's use a boat. Well, oh, come on. You've got to be kidding me. Okay. All right. Anyway, I would say probably at the current rate of world size growth, I would say that we'll probably reach that world size goal approximately 19 episodes from now. That sounds about right. So we're getting there, and that makes us that much closer to the F3 moment. And that is going to be extremely cool. And also, in terms of the fundraising, let's see, the old chip-in widget had $62.62 on it before it went defunct, and the Child's Play widget has $116.50 on it for a total of $179.12 raised for Child's Play charity, and that is 2.82% of the goal. It's going slowly, but it's going. So that's cool. And just think, we only need 1,233 more $5 donations to reach the goal. Cool. That's easy. I mean, almost anyone could do a $5 donation. I mean, even I could. Well, next month I could, but I could. Anyway, onward. I have been watching a lot of video lately. Specifically, I've been binge watching the video of prior World Series of Poker main events, and it kind of got me thinking, if I were to put together the ultimate final table, who would be on it? Who would I want to have on that final table? What 8 other people? Because let's face it, the default assumption is that I would be on that final table as well, and that I would win that final table in addition to being on it. Yeah, this looks easier. So I got to thinking about that. And so I have made a list of people that I would like to see on this ultimate final table. Some very, very good individuals, very good poker players, and it would be I think, a final table for the ages. To have all these people on the final table with me, and for me to finally win against all of these guys, all these people. I should say people because they're not all guys. Starting out with Elizabeth Hill. She is the individual who, she finished in the 2012 main event, she finished in 11th place with a $590,000 prize for doing so. Yeah, that's pretty good. And you don't finish in 11th place, you don't finish that high up without having some serious poker chops, let's face it. It just doesn't happen. If you finish that high up, you're the real deal. So, definitely. Next up is another woman poker player, Gail Bowman. In the 2011 main event, no, 2012, where Elizabeth Hill finished in 11th place, Gail Bowman finished in 10th. One spot away from being on the final table. That's awesome. She came very close to doing what only one other woman has ever done, being on the final table. The first and only woman to ever be on the final table, I believe it was in 98 or something like that, right around that time, was one Barbara Enright, who actually got on the final table and finished in 5th place. So, yeah. And I think the only reason that we don't see women on the final table in so long is because there are comparatively few women playing poker. And let me tell you something, ladies, get after it. Do it, because these women are playing just as good a poker, if not better, than a lot of guys. Otherwise, they wouldn't be finishing so high in the main event. You know, seriously, 11th and 10th place? Yeah. Next up is another woman poker player, Maria Ho. Let's see, it was in 2007, she finished 38th out of 6,358 players. Let's see, she's got 38 World Series cashes. She's cashed in 38 World Series 38 World Series events, because the World Series of Poker is not just the main event. That's just the last item on the list. There's like 55 or 60 some odd events in the World Series of Poker. It runs from May into July. And over the years, Maria Ho has cashed in 38 of those. That is no small potatoes, no matter how you slice it. Next up, Chris Ferguson. Sometimes called Jesus because of the way he looks with the long hair and beard and whatnot. He looks a lot like what a lot of people think Jesus looked like, you know, and that's why they call him that. But he won the main event in the year 2000. He has 5 World Series bracelets and has cashed over 60 times. That is serious. Really good. He is a good player, and it would be cool to play against him. Next up on the list, I would say Daniel Negreanu. Daniel Negreanu is a very interesting player. He has something of a really big-time talent when it comes to reading players. He watches people. He says he's been watching people all of his life, and he watches people, he reads people, and I don't know how many times I have seen him call out what somebody has and says, oh, you got queens, right? And be right, you know, that kind of thing. He'd call out what another player has, and he's right. Honestly, I think that if he would act on that information, and instead of calling it out, keep it to himself, I think that he would have won plenty of main events. And I need to find a place real quick because it's getting dark. And how about here? Okay, that'll do it. All right. Okay, so yeah, I think if he would actually act on that information instead of calling it out and confirming he was right and so on, if he would just act on it and keep it to himself, that he would have won a lot of main events by now. I really think so. Uh-oh, it looks like we're coming into screenshot territory. Yeah. All right, now, holding shift, let's get through this. And do I have enough dirt to get over there? Maybe. Okay, come on. Yeah, almost there. All right. Great. Okay. In addition to all of that, Daniel Negreanu has some pretty good accolades of his own. In 2004, he was the World Series Poker Player of the Year. And he has, let's see, he's got 6 World Series bracelets. He was also the 2004, the 04-05 World Poker Tour Player of the Year. And he's got like 32 million in World Series winnings. 32 million. Regardless of anything, the man knows what he's doing. He must, or he wouldn't have 32 million in winnings. And let's see. Next up. This is a good one. Johnny Chan. Johnny Chan is a really good player. He is the last person to have won back-to-back main events. He won it in 87 and in 88. And he came in second in 89. That's pretty impressive, I gotta say. He won it 2 years in a row and came that close to winning it a third time in 1989. He's the last person to ever win it 2 years in a row. And as far as his record, let's see. Let me get out of here on the boat. Oh, after I make some more boats. All right. Yeah, he's got 10 World Series bracelets. Not too many people can say that. 10 World Series bracelets. 45 World Series caches. Yeah, that's pretty good. Next up is Mr. Phil Ivey. He is known by many as the most feared man in poker. Regarded by numerous poker observers, contemporaries, and commenters and pundits and whatnot as the best all-around player in the world. The one thing you don't want to see at a poker table is Johnny Chan or like Phil Ivey with chips. You don't want to see that because he's dangerous. He's never won the main event, but I believe it was in 08 or 09 that he actually did make the final table, and he finished 7th. Still, not bad. I mean, everybody has good days and bad days and so on, but Phil Ivey is somebody that I do think that we're going to see winning the main event someday. It will happen, and so on. He has lots of winnings and a heck of a record. He has 10 bracelets. He's finished in the main event top 25 4 times. He has 31 World Series final tables and has cashed over 55 times. He is very, very good. Let's see. Okay, then the last person, the 8th person that I would have on this final table. And this one could conceivably even be disagreed with by some, but that's my choice and I'm gonna stick with it. Phil Hellmuth, also known as the Poker Brat, because he is known for assorted antics and tirades, and sometimes you might call it less than sportsmanlike behavior, things like that. There are things that he has said and done that will live for a very long time. He will not ever hear the end of some of these things, I'm sure. But the facts speak for themselves. In 1989, he was the guy that beat Johnny Chan. And that's when he became the youngest person to ever win the World Series of Poker. A record, by the way, that stood for 19 years until 2008, when Peter Eastgate won it and broke the record. So that's pretty good. As for his record, well, let's see. He has 14 World Series bracelets in various events. He has cashed somewhere north of 120 times in various World Series events. And he has been on over 60 final tables. When you're sitting down at a poker table and Phil Hellmuth is there, it's time to be really serious. And you know, it just occurred to me, I need to eat. There. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So, regardless of his antics and the tirades that he has become famous for, and the very well-earned nickname of the Poker Brat, it mattereth not. All of that stuff is window dressing. When it comes right down to it, he may very well be one of, if not the best poker player in the world, regardless of his ego or antics or anything like that. So that's the final table that I would set. Elizabeth Hill, Gail Bowman, Maria Ho, Chris Ferguson, Daniel Negreanu, Johnny Chan, Phil Ivey, and Phil Hellmuth. And that's the final table that I would like to beat. Yeah, I would like to play that final table and come out as the last man standing. I don't set small goals, do I? but that's all right. It would be an awesome accomplishment to simply make that final table. To simply be at it would be awesome. And to still be there when everybody else has been knocked out, that would be beyond awesome. I mean, seriously, you win against that crowd, you got something going on. Definitely. That would be a final table for the ages, in my opinion. There's no doubts about that. Oh, boy. Yeah, I would love to do that. That would be fantastic. I'd actually need to pick up some dirt. How about that? So I'm looking for coal. I'm looking for dirt. And probably some wool. All right. Oh, boy. You know, I was watching earlier today, as a matter of fact. I was watching, well, in my playthrough of rewatching the old World Series of Poker main event coverage, I'm up to the 2012 main event. And that was a good one. Like, for example, Gail Bowman on day 3 of that main event, she started off as the chip leader. She had the most chips of anybody in the room. And, you know, given the great number of people, over 6,000, almost 7,000 people playing, and the serious ability of a lot of the people in that thing, to be chip leader on day 3, or any day for that matter, to be chip leader is something. And, but the part that I was talking about, though, there was a particularly kind of a wild hand that some people played. They cut to it, the coverage cut to it when, let's see, Ben Alcover and Henry Tran were in a hand. And Alcover had King of Diamonds, 8 of Diamonds. Henry Tran had the 3 of Clubs and the 2 of Hearts. This is not either one of them what you would call really great hands. Personally, I would be more than likely to muck either or both of them. You know, not great starting hands, but they were in the hand. Everybody else had folded and they were playing. Pre-flop, Tran raised it to 10,000. Now you can assume that he's basically going to bluff. He's trying to bluff it and say, I've got the best, I'm raising to 10,000, you might as well fold. Alcover wasn't having any of that. He was doing the same thing, you know, he's basically going to town. They're both bluffing with air. They have got doodly squat, you know, squadoosh on a stick. Totally terrible hands. Alcover re-raises to 25,000. Henry Tran looks at that and he says, no, we're not having any of that. He 4-bets it to 43,000. He's sitting there with 3 deuce off and he's 4-betting to 43,000. That's crazy. That is insane. What's even more insane is that Alcover called. By this time, the pot is up to 94,500. Let me get some of this dirt. So 94,500 is in the pot. The flop comes 9 of clubs, 4 of diamonds, and 7 of spades. So right after the flop, Alcover has the action, and he bets 32,000 into that. 32,000 on a pot. That flop did not hit him. That flop didn't even land in the same neighborhood as him. And he's betting 32,000 with absolute air. Nothing. Tran raises that to 65,000. Alcover calls, and that makes the pot at that point is up to 224,500, and both of them are betting with air. Total air. They've got squat. The turn comes 9 of spades. Alcover and Tran both check, as if to say, you know, oh, sanity hits. What am I doing? You know? At least it seemed that way at first. The river card comes to 2 of diamonds. Alcover goes crazy. He goes way over the top. Bets 165,000. Which is, you know, he's betting like half the pot. It's insane. He's betting 165,000 on a king 8. Basically, he's saying my king high is best. Crazy. What's even crazier is that Tran called it. And by now, the pot is now up to 554,500. Craziness, insanity. Speaking of which, I'm going to want another screenshot closer. Yeah, 554,000. And they're doing this with air. Except for one little thing. Alcover is doing this on a king high, which is pretty much total air. It's nothing. He's completely whiffed the whole thing. But now that's a screenshot. Thumbnail. Yeah. The one thing that changed, though, was on the river card when the 2 of diamonds came. After Alcover and Tran both check, Alcover turns over his king 8, figuring that his king high won. And then Tran pops he turns his over, and everybody there is completely dumbfounded that of what these guys were betting with. I mean, people are standing there gape-jawed, totally flummoxed and flamboozled or whatever, that they were going this crazy on these complete air hands that were total garbage, that almost anybody would throw those hands away rather than bet them. And Tran ends up winning with a pair of deuces. A pot of 554,000. That's crazy. That hand is not going to be forgotten for quite some time, I think. That was awesome to see that played. And the guts these guys have to do stuff like that. I mean, you either got to have guts of stainless steel or be completely and totally insane to play that kind of a thing and win. I suppose one of them would have had to win, and if it hadn't been for that deuce on the river, Alcover would have won it with the king high. But still, I mean, wow. And more boat. At least I didn't have to chase this one. But man, that was a heck of a hand. I watched it back like twice just to see it again, and Tran is all when it's all done, and he's turning his cards over, he flops them over like, here, show this on TV. Uh-huh. Yeah, that was not going away for a while. But there you have it. A really awesome hand. A crazy hand that was worth a heck of a lot. And by the way, Henry Tran went on to have quite the deep run in that main event. I don't remember exactly how far he got, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he got it well into day 6, which is pretty good. And yeah, can you imagine playing a hand like that? And I think I'm going to set up the park right about here. All right. Okay. Hey, there's some coal in there. Good. Good. I might as well get some of this. But first, let's make sure the place is blocked off. Make sure the lighting is set. Put a temporary torch here so that there's some light there. Go ahead and get this coal. Good sized deposit. All right, close this up. Put down the bed, mix some more. And some boats. All right. And make another stew. Never know when you're going to need it. It's always good to have it on hand. Okay. In any event, that's going to just about do it for this episode. Be sure to stop by TinFoilChef.com, where you can donate to Child's Play charity, a very worthy cause, getting books and toys and games into the hands of kids all over the world and hospitals and so on. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.